What's up, YouTubers? T.O. back at you. Simplistic Fishing. We are now into what, our third video, I think? Fourth video for Lake Fork. So here we go. We're going to dive into Zone 2. That's going to be the Little Caney Arm and kind of the areas around there. We're going to dive into that and look at the offshore hotspots. So here we go. Let's take a look. If you missed the first video, we actually went over Zone 1 for Lake Fork, and that's going to be up here on the Caney side. So the Big Caney, we went all the way up in here and marked all of these. So if you missed that, click on the link above. That'll take you out to that video, or just go out to our YouTube channel and look under the Lake Breakdowns playlist. That'll not only show you Zone 1, but it'll also show you pretty much all of the, or it will show you all the videos that we've done out here for these lake breakdowns. So definitely go check that out. And if you want these points, you want to buy them, put them on your grass, stuff like that, go out to simplisticfish.square.site and get your card today. All right, all that good stuff's out of the way. We talked about Zone 1. Let's talk about Zone 2. So Zone 2 is going to come up here on the Little Caney, and then we're going to come up here up to about 515. So let's start here on this point. Let's start talking about some stuff. So we talked about that stuff last time. Let's go over here. There is a pile that's out here, so take a look at this pile. It's way out deep. Right now would be about the only time I'd want to go check that out. It's in about 40-something foot of water. There's no thermocline or anything that's in place that I'm aware of. So it would definitely be a good time to go check that out. But as the summer progresses and we get a lot hotter, those are not going to be as attractive spots. You're going to have to get up a little bit shallower than 40-something feet. But anyways, if there's no thermocline, though, you can pretty much catch them wherever you want. So moving up here, a lot of stuff going on here, guys, good points and things like that. But I didn't want to mark every single point out here. So, you probably want to scan pretty much almost every point out on Fork. So if you're out there fishing that pile, maybe just check it out. Go scan around that point, see what you can find. We're going to move on up here. I like how this point comes out right here, but I really like right in here how you got the top of this ridge 11, then it goes down to 14. So really your point comes out here right about 9, and then that's when you have your first drop. Then it kind of flattens out again, and then it drops again. Love how you got a submerged culvert here. You've got a roadbed here, as well as a shallow top that's up here as well. So all of those things are really good ingredients to to be able to find some fish in that area. If we move up here, the next thing we see is this point that comes out. Again, nice shallow flat top on the point. And the great thing about this point is it's actually got a crappie hut that's out there. So you crappie fishermen, go out there, take a look at this point. It's definitely got a crappie hut there. And you bass fishermen, just because it's a crappie hut does not mean you can't catch the big old hogs out there. So go out there and see if you can't snag one right in front of all those crappie fishermen. All right, so moving on up here, got some pretty good points and things like that. Nothing too crazy to look at. There is a mark back here that says there's a ditch. We probably marked that on Google Earth, so maybe take a look at that and see if there's anything back there. As we move up here along the shoreline, the next thing that we see really is another one of these points. So we've got this shallow top, right, that comes here, and this one's not as defined, but you still got a pretty nice shallow top right here, and you got nice breaks on each side. And also, in addition to this, you've got a local that's marked that as well. I don't know what it says there, but it says there's a hump there, but really that's more like a point. All right, and then moving up here, you've got a pond dam. And if you guys heard me talk about pond dams before, you know that those are summertime honey holes. So take a look at all of these pond dams. Make sure you scan around them, fish around them, and really investigate them, especially this time of year. Now moving up here, we've also got another point comes over here. So fish on this side as well, and scan around, take a look at it. And then moving up here, kind of the same thing. You got that shallow point that comes out with nice breaks. So I went ahead and marked all of those for you guys, so you'll have each one of those points marked. There won't be any guessing. Then we're going to move up here. I just wanted to look at this real quick. We did show you this on Google Earth. I believe this is an old pond dam as well. It's just not showing that on Navionics. But these little pinch points that you see right in here, it's basically right where that fish is. These are always good attracting areas for fish. So take a look at those places and see what you can find there. All right, I'm going to keep on scrolling up. Not too much going on these bank lines. You do see some pretty good contours and things like that, right out in here and here. But again, I didn't want to bore you with just marking everything that I found. I wanted to mark things that looked really major, that would really be good places. This next place I know is a great place, and it's this whole hump that's out here. It's underwater, 7 foot. goes up here, comes up out of the water, and it's got good breaks on the back side. This is actually where Lee Livesay was setting up and catching all those fish that you saw in that last major tournament. So this is a really good area to fish, especially in the fall time. So then moving up here, we're going to come up. There's a road bed right in here. It looked really good. And I said fall time actually meant spring. So kind of late spring is a really good area to come in here. Fall could be good too because you got that shallow top. Then I'm going to move back in here. You got some submerged culverts in the road beds. And then right in here, I like this. And the reason why I marked this is because you can tell this creek bed comes here. And you can tell that it comes up and slams against the side here. It just doesn't actually show it here on Avionics, but you fish icon there, and that will that just shows you that that's going to be a lot deeper in that area. Then I'm going to keep moving on over, and I'm going to go up here in this pocket. Didn't see too much going on in here. Not a lot going on back in this back spot, but I'd like these two spots right here. So let me show them to you real quick. First one was this little point that comes out here. I like how that point comes out, and I like how you have a creek bed that's back there. And if you go up here and you follow this creek bed, see how it makes that big swing right there and it touches that little underwater point. The top of that point's only 8 to 9 feet. Great feeding area right in here. Great area to look for fish right in that area right there. Then moving up here, you just got some local spots, you want to take a look at. But nothing from a really offshore hotspots. That's getting pretty shallow up in there. So let's keep moving on back down here. And let's talk about the next spot that came to mind, and that was right here. You can see these creeks come together, the Little Caney Creek, and then it comes down here and it makes a nice bend right in here. This little bend area right in here is probably a great place to look for fish. That would be my guess. And let's see what this little point says here. So fish for giants. That's funny. All right, so fish for giants right there. That's what the locals say. I fish for giants anytime I'm fishing for fork because they're in there. So take a look at this whole break right here too. I mean, if the locals are saying there's something here, I mean, that's a good spot to look, but you might also want to just kind of follow this creek bed around and see if you can find any structure, or not structure, but any cover or anything down there that you can fish around. And then as you move down that creek bed, the next thing you're going to run into is this little submerged culvert. Great area to take a look at. I like how this point kind of comes out underwater, and it's got the road bed and the submerged culvert. All of this stuff is setting up really good. So definitely a good area to look at there. And then when you're there, you'll just come down just a little bit further to right here. And this is where you're going to find your next pond dam. So you've got a pond dam right in here, nice creek bed, nice shallow point over here that comes out and kind of hangs on to that pond dam. All of this looks great. Definitely a good area to go look at. Problem is on Fork, there's a lot of areas that look great. And there's a lot of fish to be caught on Fork too, so I guess it's a good thing. Then coming over here, we've also got another point here, 4 to 5 feet on the top, real shallow, and then you've got really big breaks on each side. This side actually looks better to me, and this is actually where Patrick Waters was set up, in that tournament as well, and he was doing really well too. So moving on down here, we come to our next island. Now, the thing that looks interesting about this island is that it's pretty shallow all around it. But when you look here right off this side, the kind of the northern side, you'll see that you've got a really nice break coming off right here on this edge. So nothing too crazy, but it goes from basically nothing to about 6 feet and then down to about 10 feet. So I would say in this area is probably going to be a hotter spot to look at. But a lot of times on these islands that stick out like that, or those long points that kind of stick out, I guess it's an island. The wind really makes the decision on where the fish are going to set up. So, a lot of people are going to, if the wind's coming up from this direction, a lot of people are going to fish the backside, right? Because it's easier. You don't have to screw with the wind. But they're probably not going to catch very many fish because all the fish are actually going to be out here on the front side, or maybe right here on the edge, just taking advantage of that wind direction. So I guess what I'm trying to say is don't hide from the wind, fish in the wind. Fish in the wind as much as you can. It sucks, I know, but you'll get used to it and you'll figure out that, oh, wow, there's way more fish in the wind than there are not in the wind. All right, so moving on down here, these points say big bass here all the time, I think is what it said. This one says look for suspending bass. So I'd say anywhere around in this area is going to be a good spot to look for some fish. You've also got a shallow point there as well. Over here, you got a nice point sticking out too, so I went ahead and marked that one for you. Some good break. Also got a nice creek bed there too, so can't beat that. Got the creek bed and the point. And then as we move down here, pretty nice point right in here. Locals put something here, more suspending bass. You got a creek bed that's over here. Real good area, so I went ahead and marked that for you and zoom in here so you guys can see this. The top of this thing is only 6 feet, and then you got a real nice break that comes off the edge of it. So great point to go take a look at. Moving on down here, we got another point, shallow at the top. I think this one's only 4 to 5 feet. Yeah, 4 to 5 feet, and it's got a real nice break right in that area as well. So look at that one. Also come down here on these points, and these are all going to kind of set up the same, so you might just want to look at all of them. But this one's 7 foot on top, nice breaks right here on the side. Zoom in just a little bit. Nice breaks here right on the side, right in there, and right over in here. So look at that. And then also right over here, I didn't mark it, but see how the top of this is 12 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet. The boom has a really good break. Right in there is probably a good place to look at, but really probably, if I were over here fishing, I would just scan this whole area and see what the heck is over here. Where are they at? They're probably going to be on one of these little bends or buckles or whatever you want to call them. They're somewhere along those contour lines. You just got to figure out where they are. And if you can figure out the depth, you can probably find them in multiple spots in this area at that same depth. So then moving here, you've got a shallow point that comes out as well. So if you don't want to go out here and fish that deep, you could come up here. But again, this is all going to be seasonal depending on where they're going to be at. And then moving down here, another point coming right off of here. I like this one. Shallow top, 6, 7 feet. It says it's a hump. It's not a hump, it's a point. Comes out here, nice breaks off of each side too. So really like that. Even like this one too. I like them all. And then this one out here says Fork Point. I don't necessarily like that point as well as I do this little hump that's on that point. And the hump is right here. It comes up to about 10 feet, and then it has a really nice break right here on each one of these sides, or on this side. So really like that hump that's there. And then if you're out here exploring and you want to go super, super deep and it's not too deep into the summer and thermocline hasn't set in, check out these rock piles and just see if Big Bertha's out there chilling in the creek channel, because she might be. You might have a heyday out there and everybody's going to be like, why is that guy fishing in 50 foot of water? And your answer can just be because I can. All right, so moving on, we're going to go out here. We've got a point that's over here, about 5 feet on top, nice breaks. So take a look at that one. Also look at this bend right here. See how this bends in? Really like that too. That one looks really good. We're going to keep moving up. The next thing we see right in here is this shallow point that comes out. This one's about 6 feet on top, and then it's got really nice breaks right out here off the edge of it, you know, getting into more main lake type stuff. So really like this point, and I like this point as well. And same type thing, you know, these are all setting up the same. You can see how they're all really similar. They all have that shallow top on the top of it. And they all have nice breaks that come right out here. So take a look at all those. And if you notice, I don't know if you can tell, but you've got local markers that have been put on all of those. Let's look at this generic ones. Mark Stevens. Apparently Mark Stevens loves to share spots with us. So Mark, we truly appreciate you sharing all of your spots, sir. All right, so moving on up here. Didn't see too much going on in here. Moving over here, still not seeing too much, but I do like this one right here. See this point? 3 to 4 foot on top. Nice little drop here. My guess is that creek bed probably runs in here and slams into this somewhere right in there. And that's going to be your hot spot to take a look for to fishing. So went ahead and marked that one too. And then I've also got marks that are out here. So right out here, 10 foot on the top, and then nice breaks that come off as well right in here. So really like that area too. And then moving up here, got another good shallow point with good breaks. So here, you know, 11 feet, and then boom, a huge break. Take a look at these. Anytime you see these local spots, if they've put something there, you want to go check it, because these guys fish these lakes constantly and they know what they're talking about. You know, you're not going to get all kinds of good stuff here. You know, sometimes they're going to be a mess, but I'd say about 80% of the time, I end up finding really good stuff just by looking at the Navionics. So take a look at it. If you don't have this app, I'm not a Navionics spokesman, but man, I love this app. All right, so moving up here, didn't see too much going on as far as offshore hotspots, going up there. But right in here, I really like this. This creek bed comes here and slams against the bank right in there. And then you've also got these nice breaks right in here as well. You can kind of see them right here, right along that creek bed. So take a look back in here. Scan all around this creek bed, especially right in here, and then right there where it has that swing. All right, then moving on up, you got a couple other things. It says a sharp drop right in here. That's probably a good area to look at too, because you've got a nice creek channel coming around in here. Creek bed, creek channel, nice drops right in there. I went ahead and marked this right in here, but really scan this whole entire area, because it might not be right where my fish is, because again, they move around all the time. But these are good areas, general areas to go take a look at and try to find those guys. Another good main lake point that's out there too. Go seeing if you have anything else out there, but definitely a good spot to look at. So we're going to keep moving on up here until we get to 515. The next spot I didn't find until I got all the way up in here, and there's an island back here. Now you can tell that this creek channel comes up here and probably hits this part of the island and then swings back. Kind of my guess. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. It kind of looks like that based on the contours. So my guess is best place to fish around this island is going to be pretty much on this side of it, right in here, closer towards that creek bed. So take a look at that island. I like that one. It's kind of hidden back in there. Most people probably aren't even going to go back in there, and that could be a really juicy spot to go fish. Then we're going to move up here. Next thing we see up in here is another pond dam. You can see it right here. I really love how this one sets up. It's close to main lake too, but yet, it's right there at the entrance of that pocket. I love it. And then look at all these fish things back here. Fishing hotspot, Randy, fishing or diving hotspot. This has got to be a good pocket, right? If you're fishing shallow, go fish that pocket, because you got 3 different fish icons. You got Simplistic Fishing saying, hey, if you don't find them back there, look right here, man. They're probably going to be right here. And I can almost bet you money there's fish right in this area at some point in the year, depending on the season. And my guess is probably right now. So move it over here. We got another pile. Didn't see too much back in these little pockets back in here to really mark for you guys. Got pond dam back in there, but that's about it. Right in here, though, kind of like this one. Pretty significant pond dam that comes right up in here. Now, the question that I have here is this says that it's like 2 to 3 feet. But yet there's a pond dam that's right in here. So I don't know if this is going to be good or not, guys. I can't tell without looking at Google Earth and this at the same time. I can't tell, but if that's a pretty decent pond dam, it's worth going back there. But if it's 2 to 3 feet, I don't know if it's worth going back. And then our last one that we want to share on this video tonight for Zone 2 is going to be right here. Again, in the main lake point, it's way out here, just south of 515. And really, just looking at it, it's the same type of thing we've been talking about. You've got shallow up on top, 1 to 2 foot, comes out pretty far, pretty shallow, and then it has that break. So you'll want to look at those as well. And you've got a creek bed nearby too. So that's always a definite plus. So guys, I hope you're enjoying these videos. I appreciate all of you that have been purchasing the cards. The business has been fantastic. So I truly, truly appreciate that. I'm going to keep pumping these things out as fast as I can. Obviously, I want to take my time on them, make sure that I give you guys good quality stuff. So coming up, we've got Joe Pool and Texoma. And then I think we had a request for another lake. I can't think of it off my top of my head, but I'll make sure to put it down the list and keep adding stuff as we go. So really appreciate it, guys. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't below. Check out our site, simplisticfish.square.site, to get your cards, and we'll talk to you soon. Take care.